Hi lovelies! Welcome back to my channel. And if you're new here, welcome to my channel, to our community. On my channel, I create fragrance, beauty, fashion, and lifestyle content. And if that sounds amazing to you, just keep watching and don't forget to smash that subscribe button and ring that notification bell for more content like this one. Well, I am here with my amazing cherry fragrances, you guys. I love the note of cherry in fragrances. I think it's sexy. I think it's delicious. I think it adds this amazing dimension to fragrances. It just makes fragrances smell so sultry, so sweet, so delicious. Cherry fragrances are perfect for cold weather, you guys. You can wear cherry fragrances in fall and winter. I feel like that's one of the cold weather fragrance types that you can actually wear in both fall and winter. And I did a cherry fragrance video a while ago, several months ago. I will link it up here and down in the description box. I have acquired quite a few cherry fragrances since then, so I felt like I needed to do an updated cherry fragrances video for this fall and winter for you guys. So if you guys want to see what they are and my thoughts on them, just keep watching. So I'm going to start with one of my latest additions to my collection. This is something that I just recently bought, and it is an affordable cherry fragrance, but it's a very sexy night out, date night kind of cherry fragrance. It is Modest Deux by Afnan, you guys. This is anything but modest. You know, it is not a modest fragrance at all. It is a fragrance that lasts quite a while. It's got nice projection and sillage. It's got a great scent bubble. This lasts quite a while. I would say 5 to 6 hours on my skin and much longer on my clothes. I don't need to spray this, but just for you guys, I will spray it in the air. This is a sexy cherry fragrance, you guys. It's a very sexy fragrance. The cherry is prominent, but it's not overtaking the fragrance, if that makes sense. There's something very sexy about this fragrance. It is quite the gourmand fragrance because this is quite sweet. It has that cherry accord and it has chocolate. There's vanilla. So it's got this gorgeous sort of gourmand quality about this fragrance. So this is, like I said, very sweet, and it's also quite fruity. And I think it's the fruitiness that adds to this fragrance, this amazing sexy quality, if that makes sense. Like, yeah, there are dense gourmand notes like chocolate in here, but that fruitiness really adds that sort of juicy touch to this fragrance. Like I said, this is super sweet, you guys. It's a super sweet fragrance, which makes it very feminine and sexy as a woman's fragrance. And this has that fruitiness. It's quite fruity, which adds the juiciness to this fragrance. It has that cherry, of course, a very prominent cherry accord. And then there is chocolate in this fragrance, adding a little bit of darkness and saltiness to the fragrance. And there's vanilla, adding to the sweetness to the fragrance. And then there is patchouli, which is, you know, adding a little slight hint of earthiness and really complements the gourmand notes in the fragrance, if you ask me. And this has some beautiful warm spices that really add again to that sexiness. This has juicy fruity notes like strawberry and raspberry, you guys. Those berry notes like raspberry and strawberry always add this like feminine juicy quality to fragrances, and then add that cherry note in the opening. Really beautiful, like in the opening especially. And in the opening you also get chocolate, which adds a little bit of darkness right off the bat, right in the opening. And then you get some spices, some warm spices in here. I'm guessing it might be like, it could be clove, it could be cinnamon, you know, a couple of warm spices, I think. And then there is a massive dose of vanilla. It's right in the middle, so it's a big dose of vanilla. And there is gardenia in the base, which adds this gorgeous floral touch to the dry down. And then there is patchouli and musk in the base. Musk adds that sort of sexy edginess. This is a gorgeous, feminine, sexy date night out kind of fragrance. I think the bottle is beautiful too. I just love the color. I just love this color. This is quite affordable as well. This is Modest Deux by Afnan. So next I have the greatest cherry fragrance ever created, in my opinion, you guys. This is the best cherry on the market. This one is quite expensive. This is from the Tom Ford Privé line. However, this is so beautiful. There's no other cherry to compare to this. Honestly, this is the best. This one is a almondy, boozy cherry fragrance. You guessed it. This is Tom Ford Lost Cherry. You guys, this is beautiful. There's no comparison. This fragrance is just so delicious, so gorgeous, so sexy. This, of course, is super, super sweet. Like most of the feminine, sexy cherry fragrances, it's of course got a massive cherry accord. Of course, it's boozy from the liquor note in here. And it's got almond. It's nutty from the almond. There's a massive dose of vanilla in here. There are some warm spices in this fragrance. And then there's also amber in this fragrance, which adds to the sexiness of this fragrance. So you guys, this has cherry in the opening and in the middle. So you get double doses of cherry. Oh, so good. Then you get that liquor note with the almond in the opening. So it's like a beautiful almondy, nutty, boozy cherry opening right from the get-go. And then in the middle, you get that cherry again. And then you get beautiful florals like rose and jasmine sambac. And then you get juicy, fruity notes like plum. And in the base, you get a massive, massive vanilla accord, you guys, from the vanilla notes in this fragrance. By notes, I mean there's vanilla, a massive dose of vanilla, and there's tonka bean, which is like a darker version of vanilla. It smells like vanilla anyway. And there's benzoin, which is also a resin note that smells like vanilla. And then there is pearl balsam, adding like a balsamic touch to this fragrance. There are spices like clove and cinnamon, which adds to that warm spiciness, the warmth of this fragrance. And then there are vetiver and patchouli, which add like an earthiness to this fragrance. And there's sandalwood, which gives it a sensual touch, which is the best woody note in my opinion for this fragrance, because sandalwood is very, very soft and smooth and very like comforting, you know, that kind of woody note. This is so beautiful. The only problem is this one doesn't last very long as you would want it to. For the price, it lasts like 2 to 3 hours on my skin, then I have to reapply. But on my clothes, it lasts much longer. I recommend you carry a small decant of this in your purse or in your pocket or whatever, and re-spray every 3 to 4 hours, I would say. This is Tom Ford Lost Cherry, one of the best boozy cherry fragrances. Next, I have a very warm, sort of spicy cherry fragrance, and this unfortunately I believe has been discontinued, but you can still find it on like reseller websites and some discount websites that have like discontinued fragrances. You can still get a hold of it. This is MAC Lady Danger. You guys, this one. Very strong, very, very strong and sexy fragrance. This one is, like I said, very, very like very cherry, like heavy fragrance. It's very sweet, of course, because it's a cherry fragrance, but this has like a big dose of patchouli, which makes it smell almost boozy. You know, you guys, like the only example I can give you is that Kriegler Lovely Patchouli. You know how patchouli in there is like not this dirty patchouli that makes it smell like earth or soil. It's rather the patchouli in there kind of acts like almost like an enhancement to gourmand notes in there. You know what I mean? Like enhances the vanilla, enhances whatever the boozy and gourmand notes in there. It's kind of like what this is. You know, the patchouli in here seems to really complement the gourmand notes in here, and sweet notes seem to really enhance it and work really well. There's something really sexy about the patchouli in here, the way it's working with the other notes, like the cherry note in here, the massive cherry accord, I should say. Like I said, it's like a super cherry fragrance, you guys. Now this one is very cherry dominant. Like cherry is the #1 accord in this fragrance. There's no mistake. You can smell the cherry, you know. It's a very spicy cherry fragrance, and you know, a little bit earthy from the patchouli. So this is a very cherry heavy, warm, spicy, like kind of warm patchouli, amber, woody, animalic, balsamic, white floral, and kind of nutty fragrance. So you guys, this opens with cherry and tangerine, which I think is delicious. Tangerine and, like, for example, blood orange, tangerine, those types of citrus notes, you guys, really add a delicious touch to fragrances like cherry fragrances and gourmand fragrances. So yeah, the tangerine is so yummy in the opening with the cherry in this fragrance. That cherry is so strong right off the bat, and I can smell the warm spices. There are a bunch of warm spices in here that they have not revealed. I think I smell clove in here, and there might be cinnamon, but I'm quite sure there's clove in here, but they haven't revealed the warm spices in this fragrance. And then in the middle, this has tiger lily, jasmine, and black amber. And then in the base, you get a big dose of patchouli, and there's saffron in the base as well. But I'm quite sure this has vanilla in the base too, because there's sweetness in here that's not explained. You know, there's definitely vanilla or one other, like maybe tonka bean and vanilla, or benzoin and vanilla. I feel like there are like vanilla notes in the base of this fragrance, and definitely there are some warm spices. So let me just spray yeah, it is a sexy cherry fragrance, you guys. Definitely a sexy cherry fragrance. It is a like sort of night out, go party, you know, like go to a party, go clubbing, night out, even date night kind of fragrance. This is MAC Lady Danger. So next I have a fragrance that's a recent release by Kayali, and this one has a big cherry accord in here. There are other fragrance notes that are also prominent in this fragrance, like amber, but this one has definitely a cherry accord that's detectable, noticeable. This is none other than Kayali Invite Only Amber 23. You guys, this one is a fall gourmand. This is like the quintessential fall fragrance in my opinion. Yeah, this has got oud in here as well, by the way, so that oud does kind of overpower the cherry accord in here, but you can smell the cherry. Yeah, this is a very much a amber dominant fragrance, but the cherry accord is quite prominent. It's very sweet, super sweet, ambery, cherry, warm, spicy, tobacco, oud, nutty, vanilla, and woody kind of fragrance. It opens with a big cherry note, you guys. There's tobacco leaf in the opening, and there's honey, which gives this sort of sticky syrupy vibe to this fragrance, makes it a little, I guess, jammy, syrupy in a way. And there is hazelnut in the opening, which adds a nuttiness to this fragrance. And then there are a couple of rose notes in the middle, like May rose, I believe, and another kind of rose. And there is cinnamon for a warm spice. There's citrus leaf. And in the base, you get a big dose of vanilla and benzoin. So double dose of vanilla. Benzoin smells kind of like vanilla. There's amber in the base. There's musk. There's patchouli. And there's oud in the base. There's also nargamota or cypriol oil, which adds like sort of a slight herbaliness to this fragrance, but not quite. It's very undetectable, almost kind of herbaliness. Yeah, this one is I would call it a cherry fragrance, but it's not the most dominant accord in here. I feel like the oud and the amber and maybe the tobacco sort of like stand shoulder to shoulder with the cherry accord in here, but nonetheless there's cherry in this fragrance. You can smell the cherry. This is Kayali Invite Only Amber 23. So next I have a super sweet fruity cherry fragrance that I just recently added to my collection. This one is quite playful, I suppose. It's not really for mature women, I guess. I mean, anybody can wear it, but it's a very kind of girly, more younger type of cherry fragrance. This one is So Sweet by Lolita Lempicka. Look how cute this bottle is. It's so tiny. So you guys, yeah, I can smell this fragrance. I don't need to spray it, but I'll spray it just for you. Very much a very light fruity cherry fragrance. It's also powdery, musky, a little bit woody. There's amber in here, there's rose in here. It is quite the playful sort of fruity floral cherry with a little bit of a powdery hint. It opens with cherry, raspberry, and mandarin orange. You know, guys, like berry notes like raspberry really gives it that sort of playful, girly, fruity touch, you know, to fragrances. Mandarin orange is, you know, quite nice in the opening of fragrances. Not like bergamot, you know, not as sharp. It's more delicious in my opinion. And in the middle of this fragrance you get iris and rose, so it's quite powdery. You know, iris is a powdery violet purple floral note. There is rose, a big note of rose. You can actually smell the rose. That's angelica. Angelica is this sort of rooty, musky kind of greenish fragrance note. You get angelica in Guerlain, Angelique Noire for reference, if you guys want a reference. And in the base you get amberwood, cashmere, and musk, you guys. Musk adds a little bit of sexiness to this fragrance. It is quite, like I said, very girly, very fruity cherry fragrance. You can smell the cherry in here. It's powdery. You can smell the rose in here. It is a very kind of light daytime wear kind of cherry fragrance. You can wear this in the colder months during the day. This is So Sweet by Lolita Lempicka. Next I have a cherry dominant fragrance by Montale, you guys. It comes in this little pouch. This one is Montale Intense Cherry. This one is quite a cherry prominent, cherry dominant fragrance. Oh, it's quite strong too. I can smell it, but I'll spray just for you. Oh, ooh, this one is, like I said, very like a cherry dominant fragrance. It's quite powdery actually. It's a powdery sweet cherry fragrance. Cherry is the #1 accord in here. It's super sweet. It's powdery, it's woody, it's musky. It's got white florals, it's got citrus notes, and it's a little nutty. It opens with cherry and bergamot, you guys. So it's got like sort of a zing with the cherry right in the opening. Very much a citrus cherry mix in the opening. And in the middle you get rose and jasmine. And in the base you get a big dose of vanilla with a big dose of musk, and then sandalwood with that sensual touch. But I feel like there's almond in here, you guys. Either almond or hazelnut. I can smell like a nuttiness in this fragrance. Although I'm not smelling any warm spices. So this may not have warm spices, maybe soft spices. But of course not all the fragrance notes are going to be revealed, you guys. So those are the ones that are revealed. This smells quite cherry heavy, cherry dominant. If you want a cherry fragrance, this is definitely a cherry fragrance for you. And remember, Montale fragrances have that synthetic vibe, so it doesn't smell like all that natural. It smells synthetic but very sexy and beautiful. This one is Montale Intense Cherry. So next I have a very kind of light cherry fragrance. Actually, this is a cherry fragrance you can wear all year round if you want to. But I really think this one is best for the transition time, like right now when, you know, it's changing from summer to fall. It's not too cold yet, but it's just changing, because there's a fragrance note in here that lightens this fragrance up and sort of take away from the denseness of the cherry note in here. It's very vanilla heavy as well. This one is none other than BDK Rouge Smoking, of course. This one, you guys, is a nice balance between heavy and light fragrance notes. This one has obviously that cherry accord. This is super vanilla heavy too. And there's like a little bit of smokiness just in this fragrance. But there's a very light fragrance note in the base ambroxan, which is the synthetic version of ambergris that sort of lightens this fragrance up. This is a very vanilla heavy, sweet, powdery cherry fragrance, you guys. It's got amber, it's musky, it's a little almondy, nutty, it's a little woody, and it's balsamic. It opens with that beautiful cherry note, but with pink pepper and bergamot. So that's a very bright opening, you know, like bergamot is very citrusy, fresh. Then pink pepper is that, you know, nice, happy, soft spice note. There's something smoky about this fragrance too, but I can't put my finger on it. Maybe there's incense in it, I'm not sure. And then in the middle you get that massive powderiness from the heliotrope in here. And there's orange blossom as well, which is a nice light citrusy kind of white floral note. There's a massive dose of vanilla, because vanilla is in the middle of this fragrance, so it's a big dose of vanilla. And to reinforce that vanilla, there's tonka bean in the base, you guys. tonka bean and vanilla. It's like double doses of vanilla. Like I said, it's very, very vanilla heavy. And then in the base you get violet, which is also a powdery floral note, like a blue violet powdery note, a floral note. So there's, you know, heliotrope and violet, so which make this very powdery. There's ambroxan, like I said, in the base that sort of lightens this fragrance up. There's labdanum, adding like that slight leather kind of vibe to this fragrance. Labdanum is a note that has like leather nuances. And of course there's white musk in the base. This is a fragrance, like I said, you can wear all year round if you want. Maybe not like the height of summer when it's super hot, maybe not. But starting from like early fall, like when weather changes from summer to fall, to all the way to the end of spring before the weather gets too hot, that kind of fragrance. This is BDK Rouge Smoking. Next I have a super edible smelling gourmand cherry fragrance, you guys. This one smells so delicious. It smells like a cherry Danish, really, to me. That's how I describe this fragrance. It smells like cherry pastry, cherry Danish. This one is the Givenchy Liv Irresistible Délicieuse. You guys, this one is super, super sweet. It smells like something you want to eat, you know. This is very sweet, cherry, caramelly, almondy, nutty, kind of fruity vanilla fragrance. This opens with a French pastry note with cherry, you guys. So together, that French pastry and cherry note in the opening, it smells like a cherry Danish, like a fresh baked cherry Danish, well, with a perfume touch, of course. In the middle you get rose and orange blossom floral notes. However, I don't detect the floral notes as much as the gourmand notes in this fragrance, like cherry and caramel, vanilla. I smell those. So in the base you get that massive dose of caramel, that massive dose of vanilla. There is almond, bitter almond, I believe, in the base, adding that nutty touch. And there's orris with a slight powdery hint. Yeah, this smells to me like something I want to eat. It's like a very perfumey gourmand cherry Danish. Like, that's the best way to describe it. It smells super amazing. Let me spray it for you. Yeah, this smells really, really good, you guys. This is something you can wear actually all day long during the colder months. I would say you can even wear this daytime in the very cold weather, like middle of fall to dead of winter. You can wear it all day long from day to night, I would say. Like, don't take me literally when I say it smells like a cherry Danish. It doesn't exactly smell like a cherry Danish. It smells like the perfume version of it. It's very sexy, very gourmand. This is Givenchy Liv Irresistible Délicieuse. Next I have another cherry almond type fragrance with a little hint of a Baccarat Rouge 540 vibe. I will get to it in a second. This is Dark Cherry and Amber by Banana Republic. You guys, this one. Let me spray it for you guys. I can smell it, but I'll spray it for you. Yeah, this is very much a nutty, very sweet cherry, almondy, nutty fragrance. You can smell the almond in here for sure. You can smell the almond. You can smell the nuttiness. You can smell the cherry very prominently. This is a very sweet cherry, amber, nutty kind of fragrance, you guys. There's a big dose of amber in here. I think it's the amber that's in here that gives this like a slight hint of a Baccarat Rouge vibe, you know. I think that's what it's where that comes from. So yeah, like I said, it's very sweet, cherry, nutty, ambery fragrance with floral, fruity, woody notes, and a little bit of a lactonic hint, I believe, from the praline. It opens with cherry and pink freesia, you guys. Cherry is, you can smell the cherry in the opening. Praline in the middle, a big praline note, but it's not overly sweet. It's not sickeningly sweet. The praline in here isn't very heavy. And there's cherry blossom with the praline in the middle. And in the base, you get that massive amber note, you guys, with woody notes, like I think cedar. Yeah, that amber, I think, mixed with the cherry and praline is what's giving that sort of Baccarat Rouge vibes, like in the background, not forefront. Like on the forefront, when you first spray it, you really smell like cherry and nuttiness, almost like almondiness, but I think the nuttiness comes from the praline, I think. Yeah, so yeah, you can smell like a cherry almond almost vibe right at first spray, and a little bit of florals. But then as it dries down, you can smell the amber the most. And this is a fragrance you can wear all day during colder months, like from morning to night. This one is not very thick or heavy or dense. This is a dark cherry amber fragrance, just like the name suggests. This is Dark Cherry and Amber by Banana Republic. Next, I have a super cherry heavy, very cherry powdery fragrance. This one is Délicieuse de Cartier. This one, you guys, has been discontinued. I believe this is the EDP, the Eau de Parfum. There's an Eau de Toilette as well. I'm not too sure about the Eau de Toilette, but you can still buy this on reseller websites and stuff. I love the bottle. I love this is like a special limited edition one that I got with the gold around it. Usually it doesn't, I don't believe this is there. Usually I think you get like gold lines down, I think. Yeah, or like clear lines down. I got like a special edition bottle here. This one is very much a cherry dominant fragrance, like cherry is on the forefront. You can smell the cherry right away. Super sweet, as most cherry fragrances tend to be, and it's very powdery. It's a powdery cherry fragrance. It's got, you know, vanilla, there's soft spices, it's musky, there's iris in here, I believe, as well. It opens with cherry, bergamot, and pink pepper, just like one of the other fragrances. I forget which one now. Yeah, so that's a nice heavy cherry, heavy sort of bright opening to this fragrance. And in the middle you get that beautiful violet with the powderiness. It's a powdery purple blue flower violet. There's jasmine in the middle, and there's freesia, I believe. And in the base you get tonka bean with the vanilla accord, you guys. There's amber, there's musk, and sandalwood. Yeah, this one is a very pretty, quite sexy cherry dominant fragrance. Unfortunately it's been discontinued, but I wanted to talk about it anyway. You probably can get a hold of this in Europe still. Yeah, this one is Délicieuse de Cartier. Next I have a very sweet cherry almondy kind of dark cherry fragrance with a little bit of like licorice in it. You know, this has got like a special vibe to it. This is La Petite Robe Noire by Guerlain. You guys, this one is a cherry heavy fragrance. You can smell the cherry right when you sniff it, even out of the sprayer here. Very cherry dominant fragrance. I don't need to spray it, but I will just for you. Very sexy, very dark. You can wear this at nighttime during colder months. Like I said, it's very, very sweet. It's very cherry heavy. It's got fruitiness in here. There's vanilla in here. There's nuttiness, there's florals, there's soft spices, there's vanilla, and there's like a anise kind of licorice quality to this fragrance, which makes it kind of dark. So this opens with cherry and red berries. Red berries give sort of like that juicy touch to it. And there's almonds in the opening and bergamot. So there's nuttiness from the almond, bergamot with the freshness in the opening. So in the middle you get beautiful rose notes, Taif rose, which has this particular distinct smell. You know, it's hard to describe. It's Taif rose is not like regular rose. So this one has in the middle rose and Taif rose. And this has licorice in the middle, which gives it like sort of that star anise kind of vibe, you know, like the licorice vibe. And there's tea leaf in the middle too, which I can see where it's coming from in here, but I can't really single it out. Tea leaf note. And in the base you get tonka bean and vanilla. So it's a massive vanilla accord, a dark vanilla accord from that dark tonka bean, which smells like vanilla, like a darker version of vanilla. And there's vanilla, and there's anise in the base, you guys, which adds to that licorice vibe in this fragrance. There's iris in the base, which is a powdery blue floral note. And then this has patchouli, which adds to its lasting power. I'm sure adds a little bit of earthiness. This one is one that's good for like, you know, like the little black dress that's on here, just like that, like for a night out, like maybe not date night per se, but like a night out. It's like a dark nighttime fragrance, you know. And it's quite like that licorice is what adds that quality to this fragrance that none of the other ones have. Yeah, it's a very different vibe this one has. This is La Petite Robe Noire by Guerlain. I have a strong take your nose out kind of cherry fragrance by Mancera. That's the only kind of perfumes Mancera makes. Super strong fragrances that lets people know you're there. This one is Mancera Wild Cherry. Oh my God, look at the bottle. It's wild. It is wild. It lives up to the bottle design. I'm telling you, this one is one of the older ones with the twist cap. I am not gonna spray this one. I can smell it over here. I mean, this is strong. This is not for the faint of hearts, you guys. This one is super strong. This is a very super like cherry citrus powdery scent. Those are the three things that jump out at you in this fragrance. It's very cherry heavy, but it's also powdery at the same time, and it's citrusy. So if you can imagine that, so it's like super strong. And as you know, Mancera and Montale, both their sister companies, have that synthetic vibe. So this cherry in here is super strong, kind of in your face with the synthetic vibe, you know. So the biggest massive accord in here is of course cherry, and the next one is citrus. It's very citrus heavy. So it's like a sour cherry, like, so it's like a very citrusy cherry fragrance, and it's very powdery. That's the other big accord. It's powdery, it's got iris, you know, so it's quite powdery. It's musky, it's woody, it's earthy. So yeah, it's a very strong fragrance, you guys. So this opens, like I said, shoulder to shoulder, cherry and citrus. So cherry and citrus almost kind of compete with each other in this fragrance right off the bat. So in the opening you have the massive dose of cherry, but then you have bergamot and lemon. So yeah, quite the citrus cherry opening. And in the middle you get orris and iris, both powdery notes, so very powdery as well. So that's the next big accord in here. Like I said, it's got jasmine and patchouli in the middle as well. This is super strong, you guys. Patchouli is in the middle of this fragrance, so it's really patchouli heavy. So if you don't like patchouli, you won't like this. It adds that sort of earthy quality to this fragrance. And in the base you get a huge massive dose of vanilla and a big dose of musk. You can smell the musk too, which adds like an edge to this fragrance. But it's a super strong fragrance, in your face kind of fragrance. Lets everybody know that you're there kind of fragrance, you know. And I would say wear this at nighttime, you guys. It's so strong, and you can only wear this coldest of days, you guys. It's super strong. Yeah, it's very heavy, very strong in your face. This is Mancera Wild Cherry. So you guys, I forgot this gorgeous beauty because I have too many fragrances in my collection. They hide from me sometimes. Really hard to see everything. Yeah, I don't know how I missed this one. This is such a beautiful, stunning fragrance with a cherry accord that is perfect for date night type of occasion, nighttime wear for sure. This is Scandal by Night. Obviously, even the name says it. It's a nighttime fragrance. This is a flanker to the original Scandal, which is a honey bomb. This one also has a big honey accord, but it's like also got a beautiful cherry accord. It's super sweet. It's got honey, vanilla. It's a white floral fragrance too. There are woody notes, and then amber, you know, some warm spices. It's got a little bit of citrus. This is one of my top favorite date night fragrances to wear. It's got one of my favorite citruses in the opening, bitter orange. There are other citruses too. And then there's honey in the opening, so you get that sort of syrupy vibe from the honey right in the opening. And there's a big cherry note in the middle. You can smell the cherry in this fragrance, along with some white florals like tuberose and orange blossom. And then there are juicy fruity notes like pear. There's Himalayan nard, which is like a slightly herbally fragrance note. The herbaliness is very sort of subtle in this fragrance. It's not like super herbally or anything. There is a massive vanilla accord in here from the two vanilla fragrance notes. You know, there's vanilla, and there's tonka bean, which is like a darker vanilla type smelling fragrance note. There's patchouli. You can smell the patchouli in here, adding a little earthiness. It makes the fragrance last longer. There's sandalwood with that sort of sensual touch. There's amberwood. There's white musk with an edge, you know. It is a beautiful fragrance, you guys. It is definitely a sexy date night type of fragrance. This is Scandal by Night. So that's it, you guys. Those are my amazing cherry fragrances from my collection. I love cherry fragrances, you guys. It's one of those notes that you can wear in the colder months, fall and winter. I think cherry suits both fall and winter seasons. So yeah, I continue to collect cherry fragrances, you guys. They're very hard to find. There aren't that many good cherry fragrances out there. I think I have pretty much a lot of it, you know, most of the good ones. If you guys know of another really great cherry fragrance, please let me know down in the comment section. What cherry fragrances do you enjoy? I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please don't forget to give it a thumbs up. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. Ring that notification bell so they will notify you. At least I hope they will. Lately, YouTube hasn't been notifying people. But yeah, if you don't ring the bell, you will not get notifications. And also check your notification settings, you guys. Make sure you can receive my notifications. I will see you guys in my next video.